Welcome, young lovers.
Don't stop doing it!
Don't stop doing it!
The remix as a rebel art has a long tradition. In the 1920s, European artists reacted to the First World War with Dada, a critique on modern society by artists like Marcel Duchamp, who created Frankenart collages of man and machine, the techniques that William S. Burroughs would apply to his writing, and later, to cut up sound.
Now here are some tapes which Brian made with all the technical facilities of the BBC in London, and they show, I think, what can be done with a human voice and one phrase.
Look at that picture. Good. Good. Thank you. Thank you. How does it seem to you now? Thank you. Thank you. Hello?
Yes?
Where are we now? Does it seem to be persisting? Good. Good. Look at that picture.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
As electronic media grew, artists like John Oswald in San Francisco's Negativland began appropriating the mass media for their own ends. By re-editing and cutting up corporate rock, television, and advertising, they created a new activism, a resistance to popular culture known as culture jamming. The fact that it was illegal wasn't beside the point, it was the point. Negativland tipped the scales when they remixed U2 with outtakes of Casey Kasem. U2 went after the group, and the case cemented Negativland in the culture jamming canon.
In my own little way, what I'm trying to do is ignore those laws. I ignore those rules. I live my life as if they don't exist, as much as possible. And I think that's, a lot of people are doing that. You can fight these people and fight them, but to a large degree, Negativland isn't fighting them. We just do what we do. We just make what we want to make. In the case of copyright infringing, we have continued to appropriate like crazy ever since we were sued. And we haven't been sued since then. There's been some little threats. There's been a few people who've popped up who kind of came after us. Philip Glass's publishing company at one point. There were some things with Beck, with Fatboy Slim. But they never went anywhere. I think because they realized, it's like, oh, we don't even want to mess with Negativland. It'll just, like, it doesn't matter. What are we going to get out of it? And then maybe it'll just be bad press. Live your life, you know, in your neighborhood, on your street, with your friends, with your family, you know, in your community, and as if it's the way you want the world to be. Take things from the world around you and recombine them and do things with them. Of course, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just fine. It's a perfectly fine idea.
A useful source of entertainment for the masses. New ideas. The true and crucial decision makers.
You have to have this area of art where ideas are bubbling away, where you're free to do anything. Because if you don't have that, then you don't. It becomes too difficult to just come up with ideas. You have to be able to just grab anything. Otherwise, it's like, you know, like you get these podcast safe free tracks. And can you imagine if all podcasts or all sort of, you know, art was made from these little nice safe little sort of copyright free clip art and things like that? It'd be awful. You know, you have to be able to steal from films because and from television, otherwise it doesn't make sense. How can you make a cultural reference without referencing culture? You have to be able to, as they say, hold a mirror up to popular culture, because that's where the joke is. This track wouldn't work if I just sampled two old women having a fight. It only works because people know that people having a fight and they can see what's happened. So yeah, you have to be able to do that. But the point is, you know, whether you've got a legal framework for this or not, it's going to happen. And quite frankly, I think it's brilliant. It's always going to happen. You're going to stop people doing it. I'm not going to stop doing it. Who's going to stop me?
Like stealing, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing. Stealing everything that traffic will allow. Nowhere could you get that happy feeling when you are stealing people like show people. There's no stealing like stealing show people.
Where you're going, the future's the unknown, so I think people rely on the past a lot, and they rely on what they know, and they try to make something out of the past that's new for the future.
Tonight we're dedicating the finale of the show to Mrs. Irving Grimeroth.
Any recording of this prohibited reproduction is